Welcome to our Turnbull Custom Guns YouTube channel. We got some great views on our bolt bending that we did for this Mauser, and today we want to go over lapping the lugs into the receiver. So we haven't chambered this rifle yet. If you already have a chambered rifle, you won't want to lap your lugs in because you'll change your head spacing. Unless you have a super tight chamber and you have headspace gauges, this is something that you only want to do before the gun is chambered. The first thing we're going to do is check to make sure that this third locking lug is not touching in our receiver. This is a safety lug, and this bolt wasn't original to this gun. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some blue Dykem on there, and we're going to put it in the bolt, and we're going to move it up and down to make sure it's not touching. So this here is my bolt lapping tool. It's made from old 98 Mauser barrel, and all that I did was drill out the chamber and turn this piece of steel to fit that chamber tight. It has a spring back here, and it has a pin to capture this. Maybe I'll do a drawing or something that I can add in here. But what this is meant to do is to put pressure on our bolt face to simulate having a round chambered in there, actually a little bit tighter. That pressure will push our bolt back. These locking lugs will then touch the lugs inside our receiver here. And as we work that up and down with grit on these lugs, it will square it up to our receiver. So the first thing we're going to do is put our lapping tool in. We're going to put Dykem on the rear lug and make sure it's not touching in the receiver. Where did I put the Dykem last? Aha! It was hiding. If you don't own any of this, it's a must-have, and it's super inexpensive. So we're just going to put a little bit there. And tell you what, we're also going to put a little bit on our front lugs just to see what type of contact we have. Sometimes you don't need to lap these in at all. So what we're looking for is for this lug and this lug to be touching, and for this lug to not be touching. So the two front lugs need to touch evenly, and the rear lug needs to not touch. Reason why, if you're touching on the rear lug, then your front lugs will never be square as you fire, and that's taking all the energy from your cartridge instead of the two front lugs. Now we're gonna put her in there, give it a little up and down motion. Let's see what we got. So this actually isn't too bad. We have contact on this lug and contact on this lug, although just out on the outside edges. But the fact that we're contacting both of them, that's great. And I don't see any contact on our rear lug. So now what we're going to do, we're going to put some lapping compound on these. I have these are diamond abrasive lapping compounds. And so I'm going to start with a 600 grit compound. I'll just put that on our lugs. We don't want to get too much on the bolt because everywhere that it touches is going to be wearing off metal. Going to put some on the lug there, on the lug there. And this really is not a difficult process. So once you got it locked in there, it literally, at this point, is working your bolt. So I'm gonna put it in my vise over here and give it a few turns, and then we'll be back. If you don't have lapping compound, you can use really coarse valve grinding compound is a little coarser than you want. But if you go down, sometimes your automotive hardware stores, you can find different grits. So you can see, I hope, pretty good contact on this lug over here. And we've got contact on these outer edges on this lug. So we're going to go ahead and keep working it and see if we can get a little more contact over here. Once we work it a little bit more, we'll put fresh Dykem on there and do a check without any of the grinding compound on there, because that takes up some of that space. Just a couple more pointers here. All your movement is really down here before the camming back action happens. Once you come up here, you're really lapping a different part, which you don't necessarily want to do. Now, before you do your final check, you're going to want to take this out and make sure you clean all that compound off. And then we'll put Dykem on it and we'll check it again. We've ultrasonically cleaned the inside of our receiver. Just looking in there, it looks like we've made nice contact surfaces in there. We put new fresh Dykem on there. So I'm gonna push it forward and let it come down, and then do the rub thing. So we have good contact on both the top and the bottom lug, and good contact on this right lug. And that's what we want to see.